Welcome to Leave It Better. My dad says every person we meet leaves a mark on our lives, and every choice we make can leave a mark on the world. This is a space for hope, for love, and for stories that remind us we are all connected. So take a deep breath and let's leave it better together.
Hey, everybody. My name is Dwayne Daniels. You are here on the Leave It Better podcast. My guest today is no other than Jessica Contreras. Jessica, welcome.
But
I told her to be herself. This is what this platform is about. It's not about being anyone else but yourself. And that's who I am. And that's, this is who she is. This is why I'm real cool with her. Just to touch on how me and Jessica met, it was through Walt a very long time ago. She was on Black Ink. If you've never seen, you might have seen on there. And she was just always very interesting. So I reached out to her about an interview, and then she did an interview with me on my previous podcast, which was Mean 16, which is more like hip hop based. We talked a lot about that. It was a good interview, and it was her first interview, and I felt very special about that because one, it's hard to let yourself go and do those things. Two, I felt like it was my first celebrity, right? Because she was on TV, and oh wow, I got somebody on TV that's interviewing, right? So that was cool. And a reason I wanted to interview her is it was really my wife. It was something that she had posted, and it was related to her work. And it just made me think that people see a lot of her highlight reels of like, she's very fun. She makes me laugh all the time. But I wanted to show people how super smart she is as well. Like,
thank
and
you.
what else that she's doing, because people get caught up in just that. So for people that don't know you, just tell them like what you're doing now, who you are, things like that.
Okay. So, hey everyone. So yeah, my name is Jessica, but everyone calls me Jess. And as Dwayne mentioned, I was on the show Black Ink Crew. It was about 5 years ago. That was like one of the things that I've done. But since then, before that, I've always had, a real job, like a real career. And I did get to talk about it a little bit on the show.
Yeah.
So just about the philanthropy work that I do, the community that I work with, which is transgender women, specifically in New York City. And yeah, so since then, I did direct services for about 15 years where I worked in clinics and I did a lot of capacity building. So basically, I was in charge of training the healthcare, like the clinics, and, preparing them for the trans patients. So, we need a lot of trainings to go with that, just a lot of infrastructure changes and stuff, and preparing sort of like the culture
Right.
for these new patients that they have no idea, who they are. They have their own thoughts about that community and stuff. So it was a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
but it was very purposeful.
Yeah.
And since then, in 2021, I transitioned to research. So now I'm at Columbia University, and I manage a research lab which focuses on epidemiology. And yeah, and I still do, I would say, because I love helping people. And that's just something that I'm really passionate about. I'm very small. I'm like 5'2", but in my mind and how I view myself, I'm like
You like
6'2".
seven?
Yeah, so I'm very, like, fearless, like, I'm one of those people that I don't like bullies, and I feel like I can help the world, and a lot of people, they're afraid to, like, just advocate for themselves.
Mm,
Not if I see something wrong, I'm gonna speak on it. Even a few years ago, I used to do a lot of work with my son and
mm-hmm.
Tamika, and I used to be in front of the jails protesting, like, "They
Nice.
need hot water."
No, it's important. It's
Yeah, so
important.
I'll do things like that. Like, I'll just wake up one morning, I see them, and I'm like, "You know what? I'm going down there too." And I just take off. And even I did the first Black Lives Matter march in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
And this was around, I believe it was like 2017 or 2016. And this was around the time where it was like, I don't remember the names, I'm so sorry, but
It's all right.
3 killings of Black men. It was like back to back. Philantro, something like that. I'm so sorry. So that whole thing happened, and I just became like so infuriated because I'm
Mm,
raising, 2 young Black men, and I have a lot of friends and, just a lot of awesome Black men in my life that need protection, So I just put up a post and I said, I'm doing a march, 149th in the Grand Concourse, meet me there.
mm.
I swear, and like that thing went viral. And then like 2 days, my son reached out to me and he was like, "Oh, who are you? And what are you trying to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just wanna bring
I just
awareness
wanted to
'cause I'm
just do
pissed
something,
off."
bring awareness. Yep,
You
yep.
know what I mean? Like, I'm pissed off. I don't know what this march is gonna do, but I'm just there. And he's like, "Okay, so I'm coming." And then he showed up. I swear 1,000 people showed up and they met me on the Grand Concourse, and we shut the whole concourse down from 149th to Fordham and back. We marched in the middle lane. So, like, we caused so much disruption. We had the news outlet out there. You know, the police showed up. We got interviewed. So that's the type of stuff that I do. If I'm motivated about something and I feel something needs to be said, I don't care. I just go.
I loved
And
it.
if you with me, you with me. If you're not, it's okay. You know, that's just God got me. That's how I move through the world. Like, God got me. I'm not worried. I'm fine. So,
I love
yeah,
it, and
that's just a little spill of what I've
no, that's and that's not even little. That's a lot, right? And I
did.
think the thing that I love is that the call to action for you is not needed by other people, right? It's just like, man, I'm
Mhm.
feeling this. I need to do it. I don't care if it's me by myself out there, I'm going to do it. And a lot of people lack that courage to go and do that. And I always applaud you because even the it's not as big a thing, right? But when Summer Walker's album dropped and you just was like, man, I'm just gonna have this event, right? Like, and you just went and did it. I'm like, so you
Yeah,
just go and do the thing, and I want to encourage more people to do the thing that fills their cup, right? Like, because a lot of times we're so scared because we need somebody to tag along or somebody to co-sign it, right? And
mhm.
you're just like, I don't need a co-sign. It just feels right, you know?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the title spoke to me finally over it. And whether she's using this as a campaign and she's not really there, because, you know, it
Hmm.
happened.
Right, right,
But for me, it resonated because in these last 5 years, since, you know, Walt and I broke up, like we were engaged and things, a lot of people think that we were married, but nah, that was for
right.
TV. We were engaged and we had a real relationship.
Hmm.
But since we broke up in 2021, I've been single since then.
Hmm.
And it's been such an amazing journey because I'm finally in a space where, you know, my sons are now 23 and 28.
Yeah.
I have an empty nest. I can do whatever I want in my own home. I mean, the freedom, just I go on vacations by myself. I just grab my laptop and I just leave.
Mm,
I just do whatever it is that I want. So even with relationships, I'm in a space where I'm just focusing on myself and it feels great. I'm learning so much about myself. I don't think I've had I've never been single this long.
hmm.
It's always been relationship after relationship. And this is why I love the title of your podcast, Leave It Better, because I feel like in this situation, yeah, we had our troubles and stuff, but I didn't let that determine how I left the relationship.
Mm,
I said, you know what? I am gonna leave it better because I learned stuff. I learned, you know, what I'm able to give in a relationship, what I don't want, what I need, um, how to be more assertive. And it was so many things. And I left with that, you know, and
right,
I said, yeah, the next relationship I'm in, this is why I've taken my time this time because I know the next one I'm going to go into is going to be totally different because I'm different.
right.
So I look at it like I did leave it better. I left with all of these experiences and yeah.
Nah,
So
that's great. So how do you get to that point, right? Like, because there's so many people that are it's very hard for them to be by themselves, right? And the quietness of it sometimes and not knowing how to navigate that. How did you get to the point where you felt comfortable, just like this is okay, and not
mhm.
feel like I gotta chase and be with somebody?
You know what? It's the peace of it. When you have peace, like people can say that, but when you actually feel it
Mm,
and you're in it, that calmness, especially coming from you know, a childhood that I had where it was a lot of things that were happening, a lot of things that were traumatic. Then I became a mother at 17. You know, then I was a single mom with both of my sons. So I went through a lot. So now that I'm at peace, it's something that's so addictive that people don't really get to experience because they start to identify with the trauma. Because it's
mm,
easier to stay in a depressive state. It's easier
I
to sit
agree.
there and be angry. It's easier to just, you know, like just be in the funk because you don't
Right,
have to do the work. But
right.
when you're at peace and you've reached a level of like self-love and you're just all about you, you
Mhm.
have to show up.
Yeah.
But then it just becomes, like a second thing. Like first nature is not something
Mhm.
that you have to think about. And then once it's embedded in you, it's like it creates a shield
Mhm.
to where anyone or anything that tries to disrupt your peace, the red flags go up
Right.
immediately. This is why I'm so on point. Like if I'm on Hinge and I'm having, all of these dating
Yeah.
apps and I'm navigating this dating world, I could pick up, the red flags, and I could see when someone is not for me or they're trying to disrupt my peace just by doing certain things, and I cut things off immediately. I mean, I am the Black Queen. My list is very long. I'm like at 350 right now. I don't care.
Listen, listen.
And I changed my number. People, my best friend, she has like 10 of my numbers. She doesn't even bother updating anything anymore.
You know what?
She's like,
You let
I'm
me know
just
when
gonna
the new one comes in. Just call me from that.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm just gonna hit you up on Instagram because this
Right.
is ridiculous." And I changed my name on there.
Yes. Yes. I remember. Yes.
I don't care. Like that's how at peace I am. I'm not letting anyone disrupt it. I don't care if it's family,
Mhm.
children, even with that. My
Yeah.
sons are now young adult men. And my
Mhm.
youngest, he's figuring life out. And I had to take a break from him.
Right.
I said, you know what? You're at an age where you're responsible for yourself. So
Mhm.
whatever it is you encounter, whatever it is that you do, you're solely responsible for it, not me. So that's another thing that I had to learn. But yeah, once you have that peace and you're all for yourself, it's hard to penetrate that. I be watching these other podcasts and they sick
Is
of it.
there Post Space
That
was just on
that was yeah, that was
Maul's
a pause
podcast.
moment.
It's false. Oh, Jesse, but this is why I had to have you on here, right? This is another reason why I wanted to have you on here because you said I had a lot of guests that were serious, right? And they
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I like to laugh as well, and I want people
Right.
to always be themselves, right? Like I don't want you to be anything else but yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. And I love that you're able to find your peace. Because it is hard, and especially with kids, like that part, learning that now they're at an age that, hey, some of these things you just gonna have to navigate. I'm still here, right? We'll still talk through things. I'm still here to guide you, but letting go of the part of the decision making now because
Yes.
of that they're adults, right? So, and that
Mhm.
was hard for me too. Like I had to understand because my oldest is 25, so I got to the point now where I'm just like, well, this is what I think, but then you can make
Mhm.
the choice, right? Because I don't want to
That's right.
say you got to do it because I said it. So just learning how to do that is super, super important. How did you get to
Yeah.
that point with your sons? Because I see you have a great relationship with your kids.
It was something that, you know, I don't want to be an enabler, and I don't want to cradle them because, again, I'm raising men. And
Yes.
again, I'm a woman and I know that I could never raise a man, as I've heard that. And I've always felt a little iffy about that term, but I still have a general sense of things and I can give you a woman's perspective. So, with my sons, I'm teaching them, if you're emotional, if you're feeling upset, you're feeling something, you can go to therapy. You can talk to
Yes.
me about it. You can address these issues. When you're in a relationship, I teach them how to show up. Like, you will be a provider. This is why I'm not a grandmother to this day. I talk to my sons about that. I'm like, I raised you alone. And I don't want you to repeat that cycle because you
Right.
have to be present for your children. So you have to make sure that you have a career. So those things, I tell them, and my oldest, he's like the sweetest. He's so focused. He's really the one that keeps the peace between me and my youngest son.
Mhm.
Sometimes I apologize to him because I'm like, I know it's a lot
Right.
to be in the middle, but I cannot do this without you. Like your brother is a hot mess. Um, and because he doesn't have his father, like
Yeah.
his brother's the closest thing to a male figure
Mhm.
that he respects.
Mhm.
And he fears a little bit, so that's very helpful.
A little bit of fear
But I
helps
just
too.
had to come to an understanding that I cannot enable them. I don't want them to be these men that these women are complaining about in this day and age. Like, oh, they can't cook. They don't know how to use tools. Like, I
Right.
taught my sons how to do everything, how to put on a tie, just everything that I could teach them to prepare them to be who they
Mhm.
are. I did that. And now that I've given you these tools, it's up to you to just, use them properly. But it was a lot of emotional nights,
Right.
because, you still worry, you care. But again, you have to go through life to learn.
Yes.
And my youngest son, you have to know your children. He's the one that has to learn the hard way. My oldest son, I could tell him, guide him, he listens, we have real conversations.
Hmm.
The younger one, he's one of those that he needs to try
Yeah.
stuff before he really knows, how serious it is. So that's another thing, is learning who your children are and sort of still, being there, but allowing them to figure things out. And then just not being hard on yourself and just
Yeah.
saying, what, I did the best that I could. I
Yes.
know I'm a good mom. They both graduated high school. If they don't want to go to college, that's fine. And, just wherever they're at, just trying to be there, but then also giving yourself grace and just saying, like, you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
I can't continue to do the absolute most because you're doing more harm than good.
Yeah.
I feel when that comes to that.
No, that's great. And I think two things I want to touch on that you mentioned. One was grace for yourself as a parent. And I think that's one thing I had to learn later on for my dad, even like giving him grace. And then learning to give myself grace after talking to my oldest son and figuring out like there were some things that I just didn't do as well as I thought I did, right? Sometimes you think like, oh, I'm killing this parenting thing, right? And he was just like, nah, you kind of messed up when you didn't do that. Oh, wait, whoa, oh, really? So then I had to
Mhm.
be accountable, which made it great because he was able to still have that conversation and I didn't make it defensive for him. So
Yes,
our
yes.
relationship was even better than ever because of that. And the other thing I wanted to touch on that you mentioned, which is great, that we don't talk about enough is how you talk to your kids differently. We talk about
Mhm.
love languages, right, for our spouse or,
Yeah.
your girlfriend, whatever. But your kids have love languages, right? It's like you can't, some kids you might have to press a little bit more, right? Like, I gotta stay on them, stay on them. And some kids don't need that. They're just like, I got it. They need a little bit more love and affection and stuff like that. And it's like balancing those love languages. So I think those are two excellent points that you brought up.
And also I think too, I guess, in our era, if you went through some emotional trauma with your parents and you decided to break that generational trauma
Yes.
with your children, you didn't, a lot of times we don't get the apology from our parents.
Yeah.
We don't get to express, how growing up with them and the things that they did, we don't get to have those conversations. So one of the things that I started to work on with my oldest sons, because I had him at 17,
Hmm.
you know, I I didn't really know how to parent. So I
Right.
did a lot of things that, you know, probably affected him and stuff like that. And now that he's older, I remember he came to visit me and we literally had like a 6-hour conversation.
Wow.
We stayed up the whole night talking and we talked about different situations and different scenarios and things that, he still carries with him and
Hmm.
all of this stuff. I found myself having to apologize to him,
Mm.
and he's like, you know what, Ma, I forgive you because I know you had me
Wow.
at a young age. I don't hold that against you because you didn't know any better, and I'm just happy that we're at this space. And it happened because he got my name tattooed on his wrist.
Hmm.
'Cause he has everyone else's name, his grandmother's, his brother. I said, "Okay." I was feeling the way, but I said,
Right.
"I'm not gonna press it because I
Yeah.
know what that is." I'm like, "I have your name on me and stuff."
Yeah.
But when he finally decided to do it, it was something personal that he had to do, and he finally reached a point of forgiving me and understanding that I was a young mom, and understanding that I had to support you, so I had to sell drugs and I had to
Yeah.
hustle
Yeah.
and, get, having to be going through raids and me fighting and I'm young. So
Hmm.
all of these things that I exposed him at a young age, it did something to him.
Right.
So he was able to express that to me and I apologize and we made peace with it and we're super close. Like he's
Nah,
really
I
like my
see, yeah.
best friend.
Nah, I see it all the
Yeah,
time, and it's
we're
beautiful.
really yeah.
The
It's
fact that y'all had that conversation and the fact that you were accountable and that you apologized, I think, man, that's generational changing. Like how if he decides to have kids, how he raises his kids, the conversations he's gonna be able to have with his children, like that's a total shift. That's such a beautiful thing.
yeah. Absolutely. And I'm happy that we got to do it now
Mhm.
instead of waiting till I'm like 60 and I don't know what's going on. Which I
Right.
don't know if
Wait, what
that's
do you say?
happening.
What? Wait, we're not gonna say we ain't gonna know what's going on at 60.
Like a
He's
whole
gonna be like
senile.
80, right? I'm 50, so I'm 10 years away.
Listen, I'm 46. I'm right there. I'm
You like
knocking.
knocking on the door, right?
Yeah. So I'm
Nah,
like,
but I I get
yeah, I'm
exactly
happy
what
we
you're
got to do
saying.
it now.
Yes, yes,
Now we get to like enjoy, you
yes.
know, the next years of our adult life and just really have fun. And I can't wait to go on vacation with them. And, sometimes I'll be like, I'll hit them up. I'm like, hey, y'all want to go to Miami? And they're like, Ma, it's Tuesday. Like, we have
We
to
still gotta
work.
work tomorrow.
Who we don't have money. I get paid on this day. And
Right.
I'm like, no, don't worry about it. I got it. We out.
Yeah.
They like, no. I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. That's where I'm at in life. You right. You do have to go
Right.
to work. You have
I
to
still
do
got to go to
things.
work tomorrow.
I'm sorry. All right. But can we plan it at least? They like,
Yes.
fine. But then they'll give me a date that's a year from now. So I don't know if they really wanna
Yeah.
wanna hang out with me
I
in
think
that
they
sense.
do. I think they do.
I'm
They
like,
do.
oh my God, we can go to booby trap. Like it's a whole thing I want
Right.
to do with them.
Yeah,
But
because
no.
you're a cool mom, right? So it's not like they're gonna feel like,
It's me. But that's the funny part because they're still my sons. So
mhm,
they're very overprotective of me.
makes sense. Makes sense.
So it's but so much that I can do with them and, be my authentic
Right,
self
right. They're like, "Ma,
without it
chill.
being weird.
Ma, chill. We're still here. We're right here."
You see my videos at
I
7
know.
in the morning.
It's like, no, they'll be too through with you. Like, no, all right, we're going next door. We can't deal with this.
Like, why are we at the other after hour, Lord
Right.
Jesus? They're not
See,
ready.
I don't know how you do it half the time. I'm like, how is just even up right now? I don't know. I don't know. But the food always looks good all the time.
Man,
And I always
listen,
tell Michelle, I'm like, yo, one night, it's gonna take everything in us. We gonna hang out with Jess. Just
I'm
one night
telling
though.
you, you need it. I don't do it often
No, you
because
don't.
I'm
You don't.
reaching the age where it's like my knees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I promise you, I hibernate. I
Hmm.
might go
No,
out
you do.
once,
Yep, you
but
do.
that one day I'm making up for the week,
For the
for the
right, right.
4 week that I stayed home. So when I say I'm outside, I tell my friends, we're outside. We're
Yes.
not going home
I'm gonna have to keep
until
like
7,
energy
8.
energy drink with me or something. Like, I don't know. I have to figure it out.
Oh my God.
Cause I'm like, I don't know. But I'll say we'll have fun. I know that much. We
Listen,
will have
we're gonna
fun.
have a good time. It's gonna be a lot of catering, it's gonna be a lot of bottles and again, I also because I feel so young, but I'm also like, no, girl, you at that age. It's
Right.
like, nah, I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to wind down, like
Yeah.
I'm okay going out once and then, that's it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm young at heart.
Yeah, no, you are. You enjoy
I'm
life,
gonna let
honestly.
my
Like,
age
all jokes aside,
be
like
in the
I
past.
like that you do enjoy your life, right?
Right.
And more importantly, you enjoy the people in your life. Like you have
Mhm,
people that you really rock with. And I see that. And the relationships that you've built and the fun that you guys have together. I think
mhm,
it's beautiful. And as we get older, like those relationships are so important, like people that you can count on and just laugh with, right? Like nothing super serious, just like I could depend on you to just chill out. And sometimes some serious stuff we got to talk about some things, but having people
mhm.
in your corner is a really good thing. What I
Absolutely.
want to touch on some of your spirituality, like because I feel like you are super spiritual,
Mm.
and I think you're really connected with God. Like, how did that come about for you? And like, does that ever play into like what you're doing right now, the work that you're doing right now?
Let's see. Yes, I love the term spiritual
Yes.
because I don't identify with a specific religion. I have a problem with people telling me what to do.
Hmm.
I have an issue with confining myself to a box. And I kind of learned that earlier on as a child. My mom and my dad grew up Catholic.
Hmm.
And, they made me do the whole communion stuff. And I never resonated with that religion.
Right.
Shout out to the Catholics.
Right.
But I didn't find it just didn't speak to my soul. Like
That's
I would
fine.
go to church and it would be and
Hmm.
like be falling asleep. And it was very much, but as I grew older, I started to have different friends from different cultures. So I got to be exposed to different things. I remember I was like maybe a teenager and I learned what atheist was.
Mm.
And at the time, I felt like you know, I didn't have no one protecting me. I didn't have that spirit that God was protecting me because
Right.
I was going through so much. So I was like, "Oh, I'm an atheist, and God, you ain't." And then, so I
Yeah.
went through that stage, um, and then I started to go to Christian churches and Baptists, and that started to wake something
Mm.
else in me. And then my mom decided to become a Jehovah's Witness,
So that's a big term.
and so she became that, and then we all had to go through it with her because now you're not celebrating birthdays. You can't do this.
Yeah, that's a big shift. It is.
So then that was a difficult time. So me learning all these different religions, I kind of felt like I don't, but I did take something from each one.
Right.
And then when I met my best friend Raygrid, she introduced me into African spirituality with the saints and Yemaya and all of these
Mhm.
things, and it felt so free to me. And
Mm.
then I said, "You know what? I just wanna have a connection with my God. I'm gonna live a righteous life how I see fit, not what everybody else is doing or what they deem is the correct way." And that's it, is no judgment.
Right.
I'm just gonna be the best person that I can be. I'm not perfect, and my God knows me. So sometimes when I put up a prayer, I'm like, "Hey, God, it's me again. So I just wanted to let you know." And that's just what it is,
Yeah.
you know? And that's where I'm at with my spirituality. It's the freedom of it, and just believing that God has me at every given moment. I always speak positivity upon my life, and it's gotten to the point where the word manifestation, I know is used and
Mhm.
abused or whatever, but I
Mhm.
really live my life like that.
You do.
Whenever I want to do something, whenever I want something to happen in my life, I start to do the work. I communicate with God, and I'm like, if it's for me, it will be for me. Um, I just go full steam ahead because I know that God has me. So when I'm outside, like right now, I have an overnight job. I'm traveling from New Jersey to the Bronx every day, 5 days a week, from
Okay.
11:30 to 7:30. And a lot of people are like, it's late, you shouldn't be outside and this and
Right.
this. And I'm like, listen, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm going to work. I have a goal. There's things that I have to do. And you have to put the work in, and it works for me. And I promise you, God, I'm good. It's just
Right.
me and God just out here rolling. So that's the type of spirituality that I have. And it takes a while to get there. And I just always tell people, whatever feels good to you,
Yes.
that's just what you want to build on and the type of person that you want to be. And that's what spirituality is to me.
I love it. No, I love it. A key thing you said there with manifestation is the work. A lot of times people, whoever God that they're praying to, right? They might pray and do nothing behind that prayer, right? And then get mad at God for not producing, right? But it's
Mm.
like, yeah, you're supposed to pray, but there's work that goes into that, right? There's the steps behind that, like that helps that manifestation come about. Just can't sit in your ass. That don't
Mm-mm.
work, right?
At all.
And then that's when people get stuck. So I'm glad that you said that. That's super important. Manifestation plus the work.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's how you'll achieve the things that you want. And a lot of people, they get caught up in the overthinking of stuff
Yes.
and the ifs, and um they start to implant these negative thoughts
Hmm.
in their mind before they even try things.
Right.
If I sit here and tell you all the jobs, all the things that I've
Listen.
done, this interview would go for 5 hours. This is why I'm saving it for my book. You know what I mean? Like, it's really like, try. If I say I want to do something, I'm going to try it. I cannot live with not knowing what was the
Hmm.
outcome, whether I succeeded or whether I failed. But at least I tried. So I don't
Yeah,
care.
I
It's
love it.
something that I want to do. Like with this job, I'm working with young mothers and their children because they're like in foster care. So I've never really worked with youth in this capacity, but I feel like I could relate because I was a mom at 17 and I felt like I needed to do something purposeful again
Mm,
because the job that I'm doing is very technical and admin
yeah.
stuff, and it's not really fulfilling me that the way I would like it to be. Um, but yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it and see what happens. And I'm ready at week 2, and I survived, and I'm still going. And I'm learning, the mothers there, and it's really great, and I'm happy that I tried it.
So
Um,
what are you doing there exactly? Like, are you mentoring them or like what's
um,
exactly happening?
well, because it's the night shift, technically they supposed to be sleeping.
Mhm.
So I do take care of one baby because his mother, she works at night, and there's another mother in the unit, and she's like a night owl. She never sleeps, and then her baby is up as well. But like I said, I've only been there, excuse me, for 2 weeks, so her and I really haven't communicated as much. But with time, I know those opportunities will show up and it will occur, and yeah. So I'm looking forward to having those conversations, but I'm also thinking about maintaining safe boundaries and keeping all of those things and not really sharing too much because again, I don't know
Yeah.
how things may happen or what could trigger something. So I'm just being very observant right now.
Mm.
I'm learning how the other staff works and just kind of just observing everything. But I feel like it will come up, and if I'm called to share something, I will.
Yeah, I think it will because, just because your energy, right? I think you have really good energy where people do just gravitate to you and wanna talk about things, and you're like, "Wait, I don't even know you." Like, you just started telling me your whole life, right? But some people have that energy, and I
Mhm.
think that's you. You've always been that, and that's me not even being around you, right? Like, I've never
Because we
physically
never
been
met.
around you, but I've
We
always seen you and I've always felt your energy, right? Like, good, positive energy, and, I think it's a wonderful thing. So and I love also that you do the thing. I talk about that a lot on a lot of my episodes, like, just go and do the thing. Like, everyone is like, "I gotta be perfect. Oh, I gotta drop this. It has to look like this." And the thing that I've learned in my years finally is that I'm just going to do the thing. I'm not gonna not prepare, right? So I'm not saying don't prepare for the stuff that you wanna do. Prepare so you put out a decent product and then keep working on the product, right?
That's
But don't
right.
not do it because you're chasing perfection or it will never get done.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, as a Virgo, yes, that's one of my traits of being a perfectionist. And I think this is why when I am going to do something, it has to be flawless. Like
Right.
I've taken every step to research it.
Mhm.
I know the ins and outs because if I do put something out or if I am dedicated to something, I'm going to give it 100%. The part that I would say plays a part of sometimes me taking some time to do stuff is the overthinking.
Right.
That's the part that, I'm like, "Oh my god, what about if this?"
Yeah.
And I start to plan all these different scenarios, and I've kinda gotten away from that, where I
That's
was like,
good.
"You know what? I'm just gonna try it." But if there's something like when I have my clothing line or anything that I'm going to put out, I think about everything, and best believe I did my research. I need to know 'cause if I'm doing something for the public, I want it to be received well. I'm just very much like that. So, you know.
No, and even like with the clothing line that you put out, everything that yeah, honestly, like I said, the Summer Walker thing, like you can see it was all thought out, and that's why I was like, you know what, you might have to take this on the road. This Summer Walker thing, right? You might have to do that
I mean,
because
I
I
was
could see
excited.
a club with the ladies the way you just did that, like a nice lounge or something, and being
I
sold
mean,
out.
I tried to tag her and I tried to show her, but you know what else? I move so fast
Yeah, you
because
do. I
literally
was like, wait, what?
I saw like the album cover and it just sparked something in me. And I'm
Huh?
like, this fire finally over it. She's doing the Pamela thing and she has the old white man. I said, oh, I like this energy,
Yeah,
And then I said, you know what, I'm gonna have an album release party. So I went right to Canva and I put a flyer together. And when I started to send it to my friends, they was like, what are you? I'm like, girl, it's already done. This is it. This is
this
the
is the
food.
date, right?
I ordered the things, I got the chairs, everything is done. I just need you to show up. That's
Perfect.
it. So that's how fast I move once I'm inspired by something. Like it just sparks something in me and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, let's go." So I always tell my friends like, or anybody that I meet. I used to do consultation services because I had a consultation company, but it was more for like bigger projects as far as capacity building and the work that I was doing with trans women. But then I said, you know what? I want to work with the community and sort of show them how to start a business and all of this stuff because I know when you are starting a business, it can be very overwhelming. And the ideas that's flowing, it's hard for you to just focus on one thing. So I said, okay, I want to start a consultation company and I want to give these services out to the community. And it didn't last too long because I'm the type of person, if you come to me and you say, Jess, I want to start a podcast, or I want to start this, and I need your help. I'll tell you, okay, give me 24 hours. And when I come back, I'm gonna have all the information that you need from every step that you have to do, from step one all the way to launch. And then some people, they just don't. They don't do it. They don't even want to start step one. So then it's frustrating to me
Yeah.
because I may see the potential in you, but if you don't see it for yourself, now this goes into another thing that I don't want to tap into because I'm not
Yeah.
your therapist.
Right.
There are things that's holding you back, and I'm not that for you. I'm
Yeah.
here if you want to get something done. I'm
Hmm.
that friend.
Yes.
I may have a little therapy session here and stuff, but I cannot. Don't call me when you're not ready.
Right.
And that's it. So I felt like it just wasn't worth it. I said, "You know what? I'm over it. Like I don't have other things going on. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
And you don't even want to learn what a LLC is. I can't do it all for you. This is your
No.
business."
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, that
So
goes into the, like you said earlier about the manifestation with the work, right? Like, so now I've given you the information, and now you want me to take the information and work the information for you too? Like, come on, man.
no.
Like, can't do
And
that.
then this is something that I also had to learn. And when I talk about protecting my peace and, stuff like that, because I can feel people's energy and I take it on. And it can affect me because if I see that you're stressed or I feel like you're going through something, it makes me physically sick. So I had to learn that, you know what? I have to separate myself from people because you're literally draining me. Like I had a friend, which we were friends for like 18 years, and she was in a really toxic relationship where it was physical abuse, mental abuse. Like it was so much. And, every time she called or every time she wanted to talk or every time a fight happened, I would show up. And it
Yeah.
broke my heart to see my friend just looking how she did. And I was like, this is insane. And I had to cause now her and I were getting into
Mhm.
situations and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I had to end the relationship. But just things like that. It's like you have to learn as someone who really loves helping people, you have to protect yourself. And you're not being a bad person for putting yourself first. You're still a good friend, but you have to understand that some people just have to go through their journey, whatever it is what that looks like for them. And then you just have to step away and it's okay. You don't have to be malicious about it. And then I think I saw a post that you put up yesterday. It said that you can still focus on yourself, but still be kind.
Yes.
And
Yep.
that's
That's it.
exactly
Yep.
how I move. Like I don't have to deal with this stuff, but I'm still going to be a good person. And if you reach out to me, I'm here,
Right.
but I just can't be fully involved in this type of dynamic because it's just not healthy for me. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think that's how people learn boundaries, right?
Yes.
That's healthy boundaries. Like, I love you, but this ain't working. Right.
Mm,
And true friends, like, I think true friends can go through that and have a real honest conversation about where they're at and survive that, but sometimes you don't, and again, sometimes people in your life for seasons, right? You help them through a situation, or maybe they help you, or just it was a period of time that worked really well. And then
mhm.
you're growing and shifting, and that person is not. And it's like what used to serve me then does not serve me anymore, right? This
Exactly.
doesn't fill me in the right ways. Like you said, I think energy is super contagious. Negative energy is contagious. Positive is contagious. So the people you keep around you, your circle, the people that uplift you, is super important.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And then I feel like especially in this day and age where you don't know what's real. You don't
Right?
know it's fake. And people are caught up in, you know, what they look like on the internet and, they kind of forget what real life is.
Yes.
They think that the internet, what they show to the world, that's what their real life is, and then it's not.
It's not.
You're not doing the work. Like the spiritual people and the people that are out here trying to guide you,
Hmm.
their life is fucked up in the background.
You ain't lying. Listen.
Child, how you telling me about being in a relationship or whatever, and
Yeah.
girl, your house is not even clean.
Right. Right.
You a whole quarter.
Yes. This is why you got to understand that, like, even me, like, I post my stuff on Instagram, and, I try to, give people positive images and talk about my coaching. I'm far from perfect. I go through some shit, I
Mhm.
have a coach, right? And anyone that I coach, I tell them, even if you want to use me, anyone that you use should have a coach. If they don't have a coach, they full of shit. That's how I feel,
Mhm.
right? Because I need to be able to talk to somebody about things and bounce ideas and go through stuff, right? I've struggled with mental health sometimes. Like I've had to talk to somebody. So I'm
Mhm.
very honest and transparent in the things that I've been through because I like to connect with people on a real level. I want people to understand that
Exactly.
I am not perfect. I've been through some stuff, but we can get out of it, right? If you
Mhm.
want to, right? And
That's right.
I just had this conversation yesterday on a podcast with someone else that interviewed me, and I talked about the situation that I grew up in, right? And then people were selling drugs and stuff like that. And sometimes you do succumb to that. It's not easy, right? And even when you do succumb to it, there's still a chance to come out of that, right? If you want to, you're a living breathing example of that, right? And I
Mhm.
think that's the beautiful part of life. Those scars, those things that we've been through, and it allows me to tell these stories and then connect with people. I think that's why God has put me here to serve other
Mhm.
people and do that. And I feel the same about you. I feel like God has put you here to serve people and infuse people with like really good energy, positive way of living, and I think you do it subconsciously. It's not like you're like, oh, I got to go be this person, right? Like you
Right.
are that person naturally.
I'm just myself and whatever. And sometimes and it's funny because even though I do share, not a lot, but whenever I'm in the mood to share, but if you've been following me for a very long time, then you kind of know my story if you're paying attention. Because I'm
Right.
also that the attention deficit for people now is very short. But it's the same for me. I
Hmm.
hate when my friends send me a reel that's a minute and longer than a minute. Girl, get out of here with
Yeah,
that.
50 seconds, 45 to 50. That's it, right?
Give me 30.
Maybe 30.
Get it
30.
funny. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And I get that part. So this is why when I do share it's because something I just want to talk about or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's something that I can't plan it. It just happens. And if you caught it, you caught it. And if you didn't, oh well, it wasn't for you. But yeah, I love what you're doing.
Thank
I'm all
you.
about people following that feeling. Because when you do that, God is just gonna make sure you're good. It's gonna be successful. And who knows where this can go.
Yeah.
And it does take time to build, but I feel like if you touch one person or a million people, it doesn't matter. The point is,
Yes.
you did
Yes.
what was in your heart and you followed that, and God is going to continue to provide a way for you. It's going to continue to align for you, and then that's it. And you're
I
just
receive all
putting,
that. I receive all
yeah,
that. Thank you.
you're just
I
putting
receive all
out
of
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it. So I got two more questions for you.
Okay.
One, what are you looking forward to in 2026? Like, what is your, cause one thing, cause I do follow you a lot, right? So one thing that I did pick up from you is you had journal, I remember last year, and then you
Mhm.
look back over your year and you saw what you did, right? And I think a lot of times what I forgot is like, yo, I did have a pretty good year. Like there was some bad stuff, but I had a really good year, right? And it
Mhm.
reminded me the importance of journaling. So what are you looking forward to in 2026?
Um, let's see. I'm honestly in a space where I want to really acquire property. I'm working on purchasing property in the Dominican Republic.
Nice.
I'm Hispanic, I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican. So, I'm working on my dual citizenship with my parents, and especially my dad. He's so damn stubborn. He don't know if nothing is. Everything is expired. So he's he's creating a barrier for me,
Right,
but
right.
push through that.
That's it.
But yeah, just getting some property. So like I said, the job that I do, my day job, I've been doing this work for about 20 years. And I'm kind of laughing because this is not a pension job. This is not a city job. It's like, damn, I did 20 and but
Right,
whatever.
right, right.
I had a, I had a
I get it.
different purpose.
I get it. Yep. I totally
Yeah, I
get
had
it.
a different purpose. So I kind of like, don't dwell on that, the 20 years, but just think
Hmm.
about the work that I did and it was what I
Yes.
was supposed to do. But yeah, I'm just thinking about shifting my career and just continue to expand on this freedom that I have. Like, I'm not a fan of the cold. So that's the reason why I'm thinking about purchasing properties. Cause when it's cold here, I want to be somewhere warm for a couple of months
Hmm.
and just continue to go. So that's it. So I don't really have anything else that I'm like actually looking forward to because I live my life very free. So I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. I just take it day by day. I keep saying, the relationship thing. I go back and forth with that and you see, and spoken to you. Some days I wake up and I'm like, I hate men.
You're right.
And the next day I'm like, I love my black kings
Right,
and
right, right. I mean, because it's both true. There's days,
it is true.
it's true.
It
Some
is
days
true.
it's like, shit, man, can you just get it together?
I hate these motherfuckers.
Right.
And then I'm like, no, Jess, you can't be like that. You gotta keep, being positive. But so I don't know what that looks like. I feel
Right,
like
right.
2025 was not the best year I had as far as relationship goes. Um, so maybe, I may have some luck with that in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm learning stuff about myself and that's pretty much it. I don't know. I'm just whatever. Whatever. It is
You're
what it is.
free. You're a free spirit. And I think
Now face it. It
you
is
go
what
you
it
gonna
is.
meet somebody.
Yeah, whatever comes my way and if it's right, whatever situation, I'm just with whatever.
And the last question I have for you is when you hear the term leave it better, what does that mean to you?
I did touch on that earlier. Leave it better. Yeah, just leaving the situation better. Period. Like I don't know how else to explain it because it's like self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it better. So I feel like people they should take that and start making it a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what can I say? Like I feel like if you have this affirmation to leave it better and you apply it to your everyday life, it will have a positive outcome, you
Yes.
know? So if you start from today, say, you know what? I'm at this job and if I ever get to a point where it comes to an end, I'm going to leave it better. So what are you going to do within that time frame? You're going to go to trainings. You're going to focus on making more money or showing up the best person that you can be. So that's kind of how I look at it. Just start to implement that as your affirmation now and
Yes.
not wait to the end and then say, oh, I should leave it
Yeah.
better. I feel like you should start focusing on that now so it can have a positive outcome.
Love it. Love it. No, that's
Okay.
perfect. 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 And that's how I feel about it. Like I just want to leave every situation, every place I'm at better. And sometimes that's leaving the emotions out of it. And sometimes that's hard, right? Because even the other day at work, I was just emotional about something, like about something that wasn't not that it wasn't serving me. It's like I felt like I wasn't getting the recognition I think I should have gotten. But then
Mm,
I should have now that I replayed it and I apologized, and that was way I made it better, was because I had an expectation for something, but I didn't communicate that expectation, right? And I think when
okay.
you do that and you don't communicate the expectation or like at least like how you're feeling about certain things, that's when I think that happens. That's when the emotional part happens because you're like, well, he ain't say this, he was supposed to say that, and I'm like, well, why was I expecting that? We never had a conversation about it. So I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you make. And I feel like a lot of people, and even in relationships, I think that is so important because, for instance, I now, again, since I've been single for 5 years, I sort of know myself and I know how I want to be treated and what
Hmm.
I'm expecting. So before, I can't just assume that
Right.
every man I meet knows these things, you know? So I have to be able to communicate that, even though I feel like I exude certain things and I
Hmm.
feel like
You
I
should catch it, right? Like, you should know what I'm
yeah.
right?
Like, if you look at me and, if I speak to you, then you kinda have an idea like, "Oh, no, she's about her business and,
Right.
she's educated and she's this and she's that, so I need
Absolutely.
to treat her as such." So it's okay to share your expectations with
Yes.
the person that you're talking to and all of that because it alleviates a lot of situations where people make assumptions and then you get upset because you thought that they should know better or they
Yes.
didn't meet your expectations, but I'm not saying you have to give them the blueprint because sometimes some
Mhm.
people use that to their advantage.
I
So,
agree.
you have to pick and choose. But I feel like once you know your expectations and what is it that you want, you can express that and then kind of go from there. But you can't
Yes.
just assume that everyone knows.
Agreed. Agreed 100%. Well, Miss Contreras, once again, it was a great interview with you. You trusted me a couple years back, and you trusted me again for some more questions. I hope people have gotten to know you a little bit more. I think you're a super dynamic person. You're a
Thank
go-getter. You're an excellent mom. You're an advocate for Black men and Black women, trans men. Like it's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and I just wanted to make sure you were acknowledged.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, continue to be great. Shout out to Miss Daniels. And I want to do that because you and I feel like we do have a real friendship
Yes.
and met through Instagram,
Yes.
and we do talk a lot. And she probably,
You're right.
she
No,
probably,
yeah, yep, yep.
it could have been like, why you
Why
talking to
you
her all
talking
the time?
about?
But now we have we have a connection.
Yes.
And even though she's not active as much, I speak to you more than
Mhm.
her. But whenever she does, she might laugh or whatever. We kiki for a little bit. But
Yeah.
I do want to acknowledge, the relationship that you and her have, and you can
Thank
tell that
you.
it's genuine love there. It's trust there, you're for your family. And, I know you go through things, but you guys are so solid. And it's such an inspiration to me. And the fact that, we're able to have this friendship and, it just shows light of how secure she is in her relationship and what you do to make sure that she's secure in the relationship.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure I give her a shout out. And I love you both, and you're just amazing. And I love your family. And
Love you
again, you
too,
inspire
Jess.
me. And if I do make it to the aisle, you guys
Yes,
will be at the
please. Especially if it's if you do it away too, we could definitely go.
we're gonna have a time. We're gonna have a
I
time. So
know it's
yeah,
gonna be a
we
party.
gonna, we're gonna have a double date. I'm gonna add
Yes,
that to
we're gonna
2026.
throw that 2026. We are throwing that into the universe. You are
Where we're gonna
receiving
have
that.
a double date
Yes,
situation. And yeah, I love it. But yeah, thank you
yes.
so much.
No problem, Jess. Thanks again. All right.
All right.
Thank you for listening to Leave It Better. I'm Dwayne Daniels, and my hope is that today's conversation gave you a little more peace, a little more hope, and a reminder that how we show up still matters. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who might need it. And remember, when you leave it better.